You're listening to the Call Kent podcast, where Kent C. Dodds answers questions and gives insights to software engineers like you. Now, let's hear the call.
Hey Kent, it's Jan. I'm currently working on implementing toasts in a Remix app, and I was using the Epic stack as a reference. By the way, thank you for creating it. It's so nice to take some features and functionalities from it when you need them. Anyways, it looks like the implementation of the toast in the Epic stack does not work when JavaScript is disabled. But theoretically, you could make toast in Remix progressively enhanced by giving the close button a form and preventing default when JavaScript is enabled. And it looks like the library you're using in the Epic stack, Sonar, does not expose the close button, so you cannot progressively enhance it. Was that a conscious decision to make the toast JavaScript only? Or let me ask the question more openly. What are your thoughts on this? As always, thank you very much.
That was the call. Here's what Kent had to say.
Hey there. Thanks so much for the question, Jan. This is a decision that I made that I honestly, progressive enhancement is really important, and a big part of why I care so much about progressive enhancement is actually the developer experience that it gives, because the mental model is so much simpler. Sonar is just a really nice library for doing toast messages, and so I honestly never even considered the fact that it wasn't progressively enhanced. And even now that you bring that up, it's not super important to me either that it's not progressively enhanced. It works just fine. Often the sorts of things that happen that I care about for that sort of experience is the user shows up on the page, the JavaScript hasn't loaded yet, and they try to do something with the form, and it doesn't work until JavaScript shows up. That's what I care about. I want that form to work. But for a toast message, let's say they are on a slow network connection, and the JavaScript takes a second to load. I actually am pretty sure the toast message won't even show up until the JavaScript loads, which hopefully isn't very long, because the experience would be user performs an action, it does a full page reload because the JavaScript didn't finish loading, and so now the page shows up, the JavaScript has to load, they wait for it to load, and once it loads, the toast message shows up. Probably not the best user experience, but really unlikely for many users to experience that anyway. And so, yes, you definitely could make a toast message implementation that does support progressive enhancement, and potentially Sonar could be built or adjusted in such a way that you can make that progressively enhanced. I'm sure, I expect they would accept a contribution. The two biggest changes would be making it so it can be server rendered, and so it won't animate in that scenario. It would just be rendered by the server. I'm pretty sure they just render using animations and use effects and stuff. And so you'd have to make it so you can server render it, and then secondly, make it so that the close button is a form, that would have to trigger a full page refresh, I guess. So you could make it progressively enhanced, but thinking about that experience, it seems like it's really unlikely to affect many users. I don't know that Sonar would necessarily feel like it's necessary. And so you may not be able to get that merged anyway. So if it matters to you and your use case, then I would just fork Sonar or make my own toast implementation. Or honestly, you could just have a little banner thing that shows up. I don't know. You can design your own thing. And because the basics of it are actually quite simple. Just literally render a thing based on a value that's in a cookie. That's it. It's a very simple concept. But making it progressively enhanced and have the nice user experience that Sonar has, where you can have a bunch of toast messages show up and they stack nicely, and it's all mobile friendly and all of that stuff. It just seems to be the type of thing that you want to have JavaScript for. And most of the time you like your users are going to have the JavaScript to be able to run that. And so again, like the primary benefit of progressive enhancement to me is the simpler mental model. And I don't think that we lose that by making Sonner or using Sonner. So I'm not going to make any changes in the Epic stack. I think it's fine that it is not progressively enhanced. It's certainly not the type of interaction that a user is going to like land on the page and try to submit a form, but it's not ready yet. Sonner is a kind of a different thing. So I'm not too concerned about the user experience there either. So yeah, anyway, there's a bunch of rambling about that. Like the idea of progressive enhancement is important, and it's also nuanced. And it is like nice to make things work without JavaScript, but it's more than just it must work without JavaScript. Like no, it's okay for some things to require JavaScript for sure. Okay, hopefully like some of that was useful, and yeah, I hope you have a nice day.
This has been the Call Kent podcast. Learn more about Kent at kentcdodds.com and get your own questions answered at kentcdodds.com/calls.